everybody, it's Todd Dills here, back for this week of July 8th, 2022, with another edition of the Overdrive Radio podcast, jumping off with the antique train bell that's mounted under the deck of one Redding, California-based owner-operator Kellie Cone's 2022 Peterbilt 389. The bell is activated by the in-cab switch that formerly controlled the sliding fifth wheel, which slides no longer, as you'll hear her tell in today's edition of the podcast. Kellie comes from an education background career-wise, originally. Several years back, met the man she's now married to, fellow owner-operator Bruce Cone, and took to trucking in an outsize way, originally on ride-along trips in cab with the third-generation owner-operator. Himself hauling longtime for direct customers in California and Oregon, today mostly home every night after a 30-year career that took him all over the western states and occasionally farther afield. Bruce and Kellie aren't team operators, though. Bruce's 2020 389 replaced a 2010 that Kellie got her start in as an owner-operator before upgrading to the 2022. Both rigs I caught a close look at out at the A.J. Souza Memorial Truck Show 2 weeks ago in Merced, in sunny California, as they say. The old descriptor didn't disappoint. There wasn't a drop of rain in sight for the show, and temps rose in the afternoon above 100 on the mercury. The heat, the then specter of the AB5 contractor law coming into play, $7 plus diesel, and everything else the state has thrown at the trucking world in recent memory didn't tamp down the spirits of the owner-operators we'll hear from today. We'll jump right into it here momentarily with Bruce and Kellie Cone, riding out the last several years of their careers in style, and for the most part, loving every single minute of it. Before the end, we'll also hear from another owner, one in his very early days trucking, Tony Gonzalez. Like the Cones, it's clear Gonzalez has the bull by the horns, so to speak. So stay tuned.
I'm Bruce Cone. This is my wife, Kellie Cone, and we have Cone Trucking. And she has her own truck, own business for separate businesses, and I have my Cone Trucking. Okay. And we've been doing this for how many years now together?
Three years.
3 years now.
Okay. 3 years together, and how far back do you go in the business, Bruce?
I'm third generation. My grandpa drove truck, my dad drove truck, and I drive truck.
Where do you live?
We live in Redding, California.
We had some mutual friends and we started dating, and he drove truck. He'd been driving for about 30 years, and I went with him on and off. And when I went with him, I enjoyed it. It was a great adventure. And so he had a 2010 raised roof Peterbilt in red, Viper red, and I loved to go with him. And so I went behind his back and got my Class A and asked him how much he would sell his truck for, because he was going to be getting a new one. And so he said he'd make a great deal, and I told him it was going to be me that was going to be the driver. And he about fell out of his chair. He couldn't believe it.
The truck in question was equipped with an 09 emission spec engine, and Bruce Cone was thinking to upgrade early in order to make sure he met CARB's required phase-out of such engines at the end of this year. See notes here.
We call it aged out in 23. So you can have a truck before 23. So we're in 22 now, but set another year on the truck. And I was going to sell it early to get in the truck. I decided to sell it, and at the time we were engaged and married. We weren't married yet. So we decided to for her to start driving, and we figured it's the first driving job. Why not just drive this truck for a year? Yeah. And if we do like it, then we'll figure something out, get you in a truck. Yeah. And she called Cliff a big red truck, same color, Viper red, but she loved it so much that we decided, we got to sell it because it's not going to pass emissions in California or anywhere else. So we'll sell it.
And so then I started driving with him to learn more, and then we ordered a truck for me out of Nebraska, and we went and picked it up this last July. And so now I have my own DOT and he has his, and sometimes we meet in the middle.
So I do the 6-foot beams out of Oregon, Southern Oregon, and she does over the wood, which is treated lumber, but we're just about thorn rock distance apart where the mills are at. So usually we meet up there in the morning, we'll drive up together, and we'll load and I'll load, and we'll meet for lunch, then we'll go down, and we're about 3 hours from our house. So it's a pretty easy run, actually. Okay. We call ourselves semi-retired because we don't do too much driving. Been driving for 30 years, so I don't do long stuff anymore. And she likes to run too. She goes to Woodland, California, and it's only 3 hours drive from our house. And the same here, I offload 3 hours away, so after you get uploaded, I do concrete back home, offload that, and I go home. No, people tell me every night, so that's what we do.
Yeah.
Pretty easy stuff there, easy stuff.
Yeah. No more of the. When you go back in your history, Bruce, it sounds like you've probably done a little bit of everything.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Run cross country and stuff?
I've run cross country. I did 12 Western states for quite a while. I enjoyed it. It was the time that was just seeing the country was really nice, different places, and always going and seeing new people, meeting new people, interesting places. It has moments, that's for sure. No doubt about that. It's not for everybody, but I love doing it. But then once I got further in my career, I decided I want to stay home a little more. And before I met her, I was still doing 3 states. Then we met. What's funny story is that she, you go where? She didn't want me going to Southern California, LA.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to be together, we got to get a little closer. But I was ready to come home anyway. I wasn't going to go on the highway. That's why I decided, well, I'll get some runs, good customers, and it worked out very well. We got very good customers, and they keep us real close to the house, and they really work us very well.
You guys working directly with those shipper customers?
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
No brokers.
No
We
brokers,
just
yeah.
no brokers. Just with the customers. We call them customers.
Yeah.
No brokers, and I can't complain. They treat us so very well. Can't complain.
He hauled for All Weather Wood, and his family, his dad, 3rd generation. So his dad worked for All Weather Wood, hauled for All Weather Wood. He's got a twin brother that hauls for All Weather Wood. He hauled for All Weather Wood. And then, so when I would go with him, that's the mill that I would go to and learn the people, great people, friends. We
Matter of fact, we
go
do,
camping with them and do things with the people from the mill. So he's been hauling out of All Weather Wood for 27 years.
27 years.
27 years.
27 years.
So it was just a real comfortable thing for me to go in and learn that and be there. And they take good care of me there. And, you know, if I ever had a worry, they would be right there to help. So it's a real safe environment for a lady to go into that type of
They're
situation.
like family, really are to us.
A mill. Mm-hmm.
They come to our house. They stay at our house.
Yeah.
In fact, the office personnel that lift up.
They were at our wedding.
At our wedding. They're very, very nice people.
Yeah.
We're very blessed in that way.
Yeah.
Very blessed.
Well, tell me about these 2 trucks. I think this one.
And here I pointed to Bruce's 2020 295-inch wheelbase Peterbilt 389.
This one predates this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Kelly's Viper Red uniquely striped 2022 389. Seniority took precedence here, as it were. We started with Bruce's 2020, base painted a sparkling, legendary gray.
It's a legendary gray. What it is, it's a series of paint that Peterbilt came out with. They have, I believe, 7 to 8 series in that color.
Okay.
What it is, it's a base color, but they put broken glass, shards of glass into it to break it up. It's not metal, it's actually glass. That gives it the sparkle in the paint.
Right.
So it really makes it pop in the sun.
Right. Tell me about the truck. What is it?
It's a 2020 Peterbilt. It has 295 wheelbase with an IX Cummins in it. It just did a bunch of work to it. We did the panels, the steps, the paint tanks, but just put the light bar in the back from 12 gauge and straight stacks. Just basically fix it up. We call it back in the front of the truck. We lowered the front end down, took the new suspension off. Believe it or not, we took the suspension off when we first got the truck.
Okay.
Took it out, put new suspension in the front so we can lower it down the front end and make it look different when we park it. And other than that, it's just a working truck.
Among other custom touches, Bruce has installed signal lights on the edge of the front fenders.
Trying to make it as early model truck as possible. It's 2020, but I like to make it look more like 1990s models trucks. Trying to keep the old school look with it. And those lights in the fender were originally on 92 Peterbilts.
Okay.
From 82 to, I believe, 90, they put those on the fenders. Okay. The factory did. They quit doing it. But I just love that look, so I went ahead and put that light on. I get a lot of comfort on it. You don't see it too often because it's old school.
You changed up the headlights too. Right?
Yeah, change the headlights out, put the old school headlights on. The 4-bucket headlight system, and that's old school too. It goes quite a ways back too.
Anything on the interior you've done
No, just real nice seats. That's about it.
Okay.
Put some stereo system in there, but that's about it. Right now, just kind of still working on the outside of it.
Okay.
then I'll start working on the inside.
What do you have yet to do? What do you?
Yet to do.
That's just a never end.
No, it doesn't never end. Don't end.
You'll repaint those fenders again a couple years.
Yeah, a couple years down the road. We paint the fenders a couple years down the road. Probably, they call it an eye panel. You put it between the frame and tank to hide some of the goodies on the truck. That's the next thing I want to do. They call it an eye panel. And other than that, we want to go find some Bahama drinks and go to Mexico. Basically,
Hang out on the beach.
Hang on the beach for a while. We've been working this truck for 2 years now, and we need
a break.
a break.
Time for a break,
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you? I mean, I imagine you guys take some time off. Right?
We do.
Yeah,
we
we
do. We do.
Take time off here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's time off.
A little
here.
vacation.
So, no mistaken, we do take time off. We do schedule plans to go out of town, vacation,
We like to do RVing. and
RVing.
even just weekend fly trips. We'll get on a plane and go somewhere for the weekend. Go over to Vegas.
You think something bigger, though?
Yeah, we're talking 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, where you can actually unwind.
Unwind.
Yeah,
We do try to go at least once every other year to Mexico for 7 days.
yeah.
We like to go RVing, camping is one thing we like to do. That's our place where we get back center.
Yeah.
Is camping. That's what we like to do. Get out of cities and get in the woods, and that gets us back to our center point again. Because when you drive trucks like this, you don't realize how much traffic you deal with all the time.
Stressful.
Yeah, stressful.
Yeah.
It gets stressful,
Big time.
and you need to get a break from it sometimes. As much as I still like driving these trucks, it's still stressful because of traffic. And so much traffic in California. So much traffic in California.
We turned into Kellie Cone's 2022 389, painted a sharp Viper red, and she pointed out the theme this way.
It's Clifford, the big red truck, and it's Viper red. It's a 2022 389 Peterbilt, and I had help, lots of help. You know, I had a vision when I started building it of what I wanted to see happen, and pretty much all of it has happened by now. It's 285 wheelbase, and it's bagged on the front end, lowered, and then we had Brent's Custom Trucks build a light bar for me, so it's about 4 inches off the ground.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun because it doesn't go anywhere except for on flat pavement.
You're talking about you build a light bar for you way in the back.
Yeah, on the back of the tractor, and it's low enough that it scrapes if you go anywhere, pretty much other than level pavement. And so he put a air ride in the back, a lift. So I have a switch on the dash that'll actually lift it, so it'll lift it up. And then the same thing, we put the shock box on the back with the lights. That's the most recent ad. I have a train bell, and gets lots of attention because you don't have iron train bells. It's an actual train bell from a actual locomotive that's been refurbished.
Yeah, we found it. A friend of mine, ours actually, we found it. He gives a number we got back in North Carolina. Okay. He's a retired engineer, and he gets these old bells, restores them. Gets to the point where he can send one to us. So he sent from North Carolina to California.
Bought it for me for a Christmas gift.
Given him heavy. I think it weighs about 50 pounds. Just a bell.
It was in our living room for about a year and a half before we finally got it put on.
No.
It's controlled by the air
Controlled by
valve.
the air valve. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so originally this truck came with a slide, and we rebuilt that so we could put the deck plates through. And we bought the lower saddles, so those legs right there are lower than, like his legs. See how tall they are. These are really super low. And we rebuilt that, and when we rebuilt that, we took the airline that goes to the slide and it outfits this, so the slide button on the dash actually triggers that.
Translation? As noted up top, no more sliding fifth wheel, unlike the one on Bruce's rig, but Kellie can make the sound you're hearing now. The bell's mounted under the deck ahead of the tandems. Catch a picture of it in the post that houses this podcast for July 8th, 2022 at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio. Remarkable, right? Bruce has his own locomotive equipment, as it were, a likewise recent addition to his 2020 389.
Bruce has Nathan train horns, and I bought him for his birthday. He turned 60 last year.
Okay.
Well, October, so not even a year ago. But I surprised him with him. He didn't know he was getting that. And so I brought him to, everybody came. We had a big, huge party, and he opened up that box, and that's all he wanted to do the rest of the night was play with those train horns. So
Always wanted them, but always been on the cheaper side. Nah, it's too expensive. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah,
No.
it's like it's non-functional.
No, it's not functional. It's not functional. So why would I buy that? Why
You're not going to use those.
I'm not going to use those. It's not going to make me any money. So why would I buy that for? Lift the box is kind of heavy. You know, what the heck's in the box? And there's probably how many people? 60 people at my birthday party. We had a room, 50 people, and they're all looking up. Of course, they're all drivers, a lot of drivers.
a lot of truck people.
Yeah, and man, I took those out. My eyes just got so big. I was, oh my God, Nathan train horns.
And everybody's like, whoa!
I just screamed, you got Nathan. My wife won't let me buy those. Jokingly, but it's funny stuff.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a good truck. We've been having a lot of fun. We do dates, we'll park the truck side by side sometimes for an overnight somewhere. And we have the barbecue, and we get out and do some tailgating and have a nice cold drink and some steaks on the grill and wave at people when they go by. And, we don't take any of it too seriously.
No, we have fun with it.
Yeah, it's all an adventure.
Yeah, it's fun. We've gone on the coast before a couple times. Loads to repair damaged Highway 101, Conk over there, and it's adventure. It's up in the woods, up the coast, redwoods, and
like way up north, San Francisco and stuff. Yeah.
Beautiful up there.
It's something.
It's something up there.
Beautiful.
Giant redwoods up there, just they're gorgeous. We love going up there, and we said we don't take it too seriously. We're at the age now where we're going to be retiring probably 5 years, imagine. And we're just going to have fun. There's last trucks, we have fun with them.
Yep.
How do you get ready for that? I mean, that's a big subject among owner-operators,
It is.
I know, because it's not easy
It's not
to
easy to
do.
get it
You
up.
got to be disciplined about it heading into it. And for decades heading into it, really.
Oh, for retirement?
Yeah. It's,
we...
you had a previous career, though.
I worked for Shasta College, junior college up north, and I worked there for 16 years, and then I retired from there and decided to become a truck driver. And, the college was good for me, so I have still my retirement that I haven't touched from there.
Yeah.
And so, we'll draw that. And then we both have investment accounts and 401ks. And
you've done that over the years.
we just try to put the money aside so that we have it when it comes time.
Yeah. We had a rental, and the market went up so high, it was time to sell.
Yeah.
It's perfect timing. And just we put the money back in the retirement plan. So we're pretty well. We'll set up pretty well.
Yeah.
So we'll sell trucks
Pretty
off.
lucky that way.
Pretty lucky that way. Pretty fortunate. We feel
Seems
blessed.
how we drive two full-blown house cost of the house, right?
Yeah, sure.
The truck, our cost of the
The
house.
Cones are running toward retirement 5 years down the road in style, no doubt, and with 2 separate one-truck DOT numbers. There are a few reasons for why that is, from mix-ups around Kelly's last name and its change after their marriage, as well as COVID pandemic-inspired processing delays. Given Kelly's newness as a driver, too, getting some experience under her belt for insurance purposes at first limited her ability to run under Bruce's liability policy.
We could have put me under his DOT as a driver, but as a new venture, a new driver, his insurance wouldn't touch me.
Yeah, right. That's
So I had to drive for
point,
over a
good
year.
point.
Yeah. So his insurance was like, nope, we can't do it. She'll have to get her own policy.
Yeah.
So it just worked out exactly the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
As everything in life seems to. Everything works out exactly how it's supposed to.
What's going to be? I look at it this way. It's just going to be stories we're going to be telling after we retire. It's going to be stories. And we'll laugh about it.
Long time.
A long time we'll be laughing about it, but it took her to get her DOT in her truck because California was not going to give it to her. They will not do new ventures. So it took a while, but we finally got it.
Finally, looking at the 2 rigs, there's no doubt an aesthetic priorities difference between husband and wife. Bruce's legendary gray Pete features paint on nearly every surface that will take it, including the breathers, the tanks, and more. Kelly's got no shortage of bright parts, on the other hand, sparkling silver striping all the way around. Here's what Bruce had to say about that.
I've been around trucking long enough to where I just didn't want to rub a chrome room anymore. It's more paint,
Polish.
less polishing.
Tired of polishing.
Tired of polishing. So I decided I'm painting everything now.
Okay.
tanks, fenders, steps, and polish everything. But she wanted polished tanks. I said, honey, you'll be sorry. You're gonna have to always polish tanks. The harsh things to polish. So she decided that we decided, and it's her choice. And I backed her and said, yes, we'll do what you want to do. Not a problem. So we did. We ended up doing the tanks. They came out really nice. I thought they came out pretty nice.
And this extends all the way into your valve stem caps, right?
Yes, girls like bling. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. So I added a few little girl touches, ladies be represented here. And so on my valve stem covers, I have little blingy diamond valve stem covers. And then my key lock on my passenger side has a little diamond ring on it. And then I also added a pink stripe in with my graphics so that it's not really obvious that it's a pink stripe, but there is a pink stripe on it.
You have Clifford, big red dog, and
Yes,
grill.
on my grill.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Clifford the big red dog. We had that custom made up out of Southern Oregon again. And I had a friend of ours, Jeff Crank, does graphic artist work. He painted it for me off a picture. And then he's also the one that did the mural of the dogs on my visor, on the inside of my visor.
Catch some pictures of the pair of pristine Pete's via the post that houses this podcast at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio. Stay tuned for video treatment of the rigs too via our custom rigs section at the site and Overdrive's YouTube channel. Clearly, Cones are set with a destination in mind for retirement and loving the place their businesses are in. Also at the A.J. Souza Memorial Truck Show, as regular readers will know, I met a young man in perhaps the opposite place, at least when it comes to career stages. Owner-operator Tony Gonzalez is proud second owner of a 2015 Peterbilt 389 he's made his own. You can catch a video published just yesterday, Thursday, July 7th, 2022, featuring Gonzalez. In what follows, hear the audio that accompanies that video, plus more from my conversation with an owner-operator just a couple years into his career behind the wheel of the business. And quite similarly to the Cones, loving life.
My name is Tony Gonzalez, running for San Miguel Transportation, based out of Cotati, California. The truck itself is a 2015 389. It's been in the family since the day we got it. My dad ran it for the first 6 years of its life. It was a bone stock 389, not a chicken light in sight. Finally, I kind of took it over the last 3 years, and in the last 3 years, it's gone from a bone stock 389 to as it sits now. She's a working girl that can hang in there with the big boys at the shows. Mileage on it is 908, 420.
Okay.
Yeah, she's still, like I said, she's a working girl. Coming into it, when I knew I wanted to get into the driving, I told my dad, hey, I want to get into this, but I didn't want to work for him. I knew better than kind of try to go in and work with family. So it was one of those things where it's like, sell me the truck for a fair price. I'm going to pay you a fair price. I'm not asking for a handout. Went into it. Once it was kind of mine, kind of went in as like a owner op, leased onto him. Treat me like any one of your drivers. I don't want anything special. I'm not asking for a handout. 'Cause I'm a proud guy. I know my dad's the same way. So he respected it just as much as I did when I approached him that way. And it's just one of those things where he's been running me the same as any other guy, and we've done well. I've done extremely well, and he's been happy because he's got the freight going out. So we're happy on both ends. They've been running for probably close to 20 years now. Originally started based out of Salinas, hauling produce. Kind of ran that for a while, made the money out of that, but with produce comes a headache, and we kind of got over it. So eventually we got into the wine, hauling box wine now, and greatest thing we could have done. It's less of a headache. The wait times are very minimal, and you got to think you're picking a product that got bottled 3 years ago, so you're really never waiting. So we've got a fleet of 9 trucks, 4 local, 5 on the road, and we run just dedicated lanes from pretty much Santa Rosa to Phoenix, Portland, and Auburn. All reefer. Our local guys, since they stay up north, they're in dry vans, since they don't really do it. We do a lot of consolidation, so we consolidate all throughout the Bay Area, San Jose, Modesto, all the immediate area. Come back to our warehouse, and it's mainly a consolidation warehouse. We do a lot of LTL and load out of there. And so since I took it over, the first year that I ran it, it was basically bunker down, head down, just get as much as I could. Just, like I said, I may not be running my own numbers, but I treated it as if I was. Because why wait until you got to run your own numbers to deal with the headaches to get ahead of the ball? So first year, kind of just ran it, stockpiled on parts, and after that's when everything kind of started off. We got a local shop in Fontana called Viking CD. They're the guys who've kind of been doing everything for me, helping me out with a lot of the lighting. Besides that, the air ride, that's something that's it's factory air ride, but we just implemented, got rid of the factory leveling valves, put in the rear dump valves, ran air lines to our front system to be able to dump it all together. Just because, these factory air rides nowadays, they're pricey. And, I'm a one truck fleet, so anywhere I can do something myself, I do it. So if it means like scavenging forums for hours, look for answers, we got nothing but time in the cab, so it gives you that opportunity to go ahead and look for it. It has a show aesthetic, but over the road, I've still got stock ride height, stock comfortability. And for now, like everything with the truck has been stepping stones. Where I can get it done and do it and build from there. That's the thing about these trucks is you can have a truck that's bone stock and you're working on it, and you have a truck that you think is done and they're still working on it. These things are never ending. Interior, we got all glass watermelons inside. It's got an SH tube, 45 bend, all internal wired, wide right Boston seats on some solo brackets. We want to get into the interior this year. We got big plans for the interior. I think we've kind of capped on the exterior for now, and this year alone we've been kind of putting more into the interior.
What's your dad's name?
Tony Gonzalez, same as me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you a junior?
I'm a junior by name, but not by law. It's one of those things.
Cool. And the fleet's called San Miguel?
San Miguel Transportation, based out of Cotati, California.
I think you said your dad live in Phoenix, though?
Yep. Yeah, he lives in Phoenix. He kind of just stays over there and handles the day-to-day. Yeah. Like I said, he was on the road for close to 20 years. He did it with me. I was 5 years old rolling around with him. So, and I have two younger siblings. So with them, he's like, I want to try a different approach this time. Stayed local, ran with them, and it eats at them. You do 20 years on the road and you try to go back local. It's hard to accommodate.
Yeah.
So I try to keep him as involved as possible. I still call him every day, and I'm like, hey, Dad, I need to get over here and I want to avoid traffic. I just call him up because he gets his kick. Oh, yeah, you're going to want to do this and that. So it's giving him his little bit of the road while being still home.
But you told me you tried some other things before you came out here and did this, right?
Yeah, so initially, I grew up in the industry, but I didn't want anything to do with it.
Okay.
Didn't want anything to do with it. First 6 years, pretty much straight out of high school, I worked in finance. Last job I had, I was working as a financial litigator in Phoenix. High rise, 3-piece suit every day. And just one day out of the crazy, man, I was just like, kind of got over it. I quit my job. Following day, I was working as a day laborer, working construction in Phoenix, 125-degree weather. And it was just one of those things where kind of just wanted a bit of a humbling experience. Went in there, worked as a laborer for a couple months, and I had already had my license. That's one thing my dad had told me, like, get your license. Even if you don't do nothing with it, at least you have it. When it comes time to you actually want to use it, now you got 3 years of over-the-road experience or on, license experience. So from working as a laborer, I started driving a dump truck local there. And, one of the things where my dad's like, hey, man, you're already driving. Make some good money.
Yeah, come over here.
Yeah, he's like, come make some good money. And that's when I told him, I was like, I'll come over, man, but I can't work for you. I just knew better. And he understood. He got it. So that's what we started running with this setup. And it's worked on both ends.
Cool.
Both ends. We've got, how many people know, but I got a truck on order right now.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, this one will be getting kind of rested up north for a while. I'm planning on doing just a full teardown on this. Still get the inside just because this will pretty much be, this is the truck that started it for me. Yeah. So I'm not planning on letting it go anywhere. Yeah. And the new ones, you got to compete,
What might you do? Will you put a driver in this eventually?
Well, the first year that
maybe
or this just might be one of my, honestly, my real plan for this is I'm hoping I can get this dolled up to convince my dad to start coming out to shows with me. Yeah, okay. Have my dad come up with this. It's, when we show up, I got some other guys come through. They can help polish and get it right because I know my dad doesn't want to do that. He doesn't get into that anymore. I still love personally the elbow grease and the rubbing and all that. Yeah. I live for it. And he's not there, but I know he would enjoy this. And that's one thing with my dad, like I said, he had this and it was bone stock. My dad never really got into that. My dad stayed in the business portion of it all. Yep. And up until I got into it and started seeing it, he's kind of been getting involved and, oh man, checking it out. Right. So that's the plan with this, is hopefully set this up so he can have this and come to shows. He can drive it out. It's out for the weekend. I've got the new 389 and that'll be the new project. Yeah. Hopefully by next year at this show, we'll have it out. Delivery date right now is February, but you know how that goes. She's still running great. She looks great, so I'm in no hurry.
Yeah.
But granted, I'd like to get it pretty quick. Just, last week at Ventura, I was there, and I won their full set of Dynaflex pipes.
Cool.
So I was gonna throw it on this, but there's just so much going on here with the way we set it up. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I already talked to Sal over at Dynaflex, and we got to just order it in for a 2022 389. That's just gonna be, it's one less item off the list, especially right now, man. Everything's just so hard to get.
Yeah.
So that's why everything I'm sourcing right now has been, originally I had ordered a recessed license plate bumper, but a year and a half wait.
Yeah.
So I figured, I'll throw this one on for now. I still got the other one on order. Just swapping back and forth.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a 495 Cummins, 1650 torque. It's got 13-speed E and full air trans. It's got 325 rears. Wheelbase is a 265. It's a little modest, but the 44 sleeper just gives it that extra look, that little aggressiveness. That's why I like it. It's not quite the coffin, but aesthetically it's great. But man, I miss the fridge. I miss the fridge, man. Being Phoenix, man, you're making deliveries. You want a nice cold water, And I just can't see myself carrying a cooler around and doing all that stuff. It just takes away from it.
Yeah, you need the fridge.
Definitely. Yeah. More than that, that's really about it. That's really it. And that's why with the new trucks, we're going 63-inch sleeper. But going to shows, it's the great thing about coming out here. You talk to guys, you talk specs, and you get an idea. So I had a number in my head for wheelbase, and I didn't know how it was going to look. And fortunately, last weekend I found an almost exact same truck with the same wheelbase, and I'm like, all right, this is perfect. This will work great. Just because we do a lot of market in San Francisco and LA, San Diego, so can't get over too zealous. Yeah. That, and we also we go into a lot of vineyards, and you get into the sticks sometimes.
Yeah, and you end up having to turn around some odd spots.
100%. I mean, probably like 60% of the spots that I go to, they're blind turn-ins, just because. Especially when you're down, the market in San Francisco, there's all little warehouses, man. They're all designed for 48-foot trailers when we had a smaller wheelbase. So, you're sticking out there, and you got to be completely alley dog because you'll stick the whole front end out into the oncoming traffic.
Yeah. You seem to enjoy telling your story, which is good.
Yeah, man. It's just excited about it. And first thing for me, like especially when I see young cats, I always try to get them into it. Yeah. Because that's one thing that does it for me when I'll be sitting at a dock and I'll see the kid jump out to open his dad's doors, and I'm like, I remember that was me. I'll see him, and I'm like, hey, man, everything your dad does, everything, look at it. Because whenever you come down to it, if it comes to the point you're going to do it, whatever he did that day, it's going to save you, man. I can't tell you how many countless times the little things that my dad did that on the road that I thought was like, what the hell, has saved me or got me out of a pinch all day.
What's an example? Give me an example of it.
I mean, learning how Cajun brakes, or like once I had the alternator in my reefer go out.
Okay.
So we have jump posts in the back. So what we did was we just got a set of cables, cut them off, put a worm ring on it, and I pretty much just had the reefer hardwired to the truck, and just kept it running that way. Right. Those little few things, keeping little siphon tube and an empty gallon. It's one of the things you don't realize, always keeping my fuel tank in my trailer full, because if I ever run out here, I know I got 35 gallons back there to get me by in a pinch. Luckily, these motors are so simple. You don't have to prime and doing that crazy stuff anymore. So it's especially with I got a 70-gallon tank on one side and 110. So I pretty much push my limits.
Yeah.
Every day when I fill up.
Huge capacity.
Yeah, no, but at the same time, it's like the number's just right, because I can't tell you how many times we load heavy, so I can't tell how many times I'm riding at 79,980, 79,9. So if I got any more fuel on there, don't know if I'd say legal.
Make it,
yeah.
And that's a wrap. Here's a big thanks to Bruce and Kellie Cone and Tony Gonzalez for spending some time with us out in Merced, California. And to you for hanging with us through to the end. Overdrive Radio is a production of Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's edited and produced by me, Todd Dills, with the acoustic guitar and other support of trucker songwriter and Overdrive contributor Long Haul Paul Marhofer. The podcast is backed up further by our own news editor Matt Cole, social media coordinator Holly Young, and executive editor Alex Lockie. Keep the tips coming and keep it pro out there.